All right, hello folks. This is episode 7, I believe. Uh, and if I wouldn't have slept since Friday, I would remember what we did on Friday. But I think
Let's take a look at the saddle, then we can figure it out what we did.
Yeah, I think we finished our front rigging and got it stitched on, and everything's put together there. So today we're gonna fit our back jockeys, and I'll have to. After I get them fit and cut out, you're going to have to just watch me draw a pattern for it and try to get them tooled today, or partially tooled today. But anyway, I'm going to set this over on the table because I've got to pin these skirts down again in the right spot. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm just putting them back in these original reference holes that we had.
Would you say we're moving along a little bit faster than you thought we were going to take?
We're moving along quite a bit faster than I thought we was going to be, which is good, I think. Feels good to me anyway.
Right.
But things might slow down here because a lot of this stuff you're just going to have to wait till I get things tooled before we can move forward.
You know your Sean Woodsum knife that you have?
Yes, I do.
Somebody was asking about him, so I went and looked at his website, and you wouldn't believe what I found.
He is a retired farrier, for one thing.
And he has some amazing saddle hardware. He had some Damascus rigging.
Oh, he makes hardware too.
He had rigging on there with custom conchos that were Damascus. I mean, they weren't cheap,
wow,
but they were nice.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
I know.
But now I do. Okay. Got the skirts back in place. If y'all see how this works, everything fits up there nicely. Alright, here's the front rigging. Everything fits up there nice and smooth. But then your seat jockey is going to cover over that too, so very little of this front rigging is going to show. Probably just a little bit, something like this. You know, and that everybody says I've wasted a lot of tooling there, but if you ever lift that front jockey up, you'll see that. And I don't feel like it's wasted. Alright, so let's see here what we've got as far as our ballpark pattern goes.
Hold on, with that laser running, we're going to have to make sure we talk loud into that microphone.
Alright, I already see a couple of changes I'm going to make here. Cut this back about like this. Bring this forward a little bit so I have room on my pattern. So, let's get another piece of paper and draw us a brand new pattern here.
Alright, hold right there. So we got your ballpark pattern out here for this one?
Yeah.
You're going to make the little minor adjustments
We're gonna alter it a little bit. We're gonna draw us a brand new pattern here. it come forward. Oh, I'm going to add a 1/2 inch to it and see what happens there. And on this, I'm taking a little bit off this back corner. I'm going to cut that out. We'll put it on and see what it looks like.
Make sure when you go over to the saddle, you don't move it around.
Don't move the saddle around.
Yeah, I'm going to set this camera up to be able to see just what we're looking at. So if you just work from right there,
I'll do
I
my
should be
best.
able to see you.
I'll do my best. All right. Now I'm going to try and not move the saddle. Okay. Just maybe adjust
Not wide enough. So you want that piece right there to go all the way up to the top of that skirt?
Yeah, it just, and I could move it up this way, but then that would alter the way it's sitting down below.
So you got your front part fitting, and now we're going to adjust this back where it comes to
Well,
together.
yeah, and I don't know if the front part's gonna fit yet, but we'll find out here in a minute. So let's draw it again. Paper is pretty cheap, you guys. Now what I did was I added a little bit to this edge and left this edge about like it was. So let's see what happens. But now, I'm fitting good right in through here. Now, just a little bit here, just something like this. Make everything fit nicely back here, the same reveal all the way around. 20 more times. A little more off up here. This edge. Because this is coming down and this is coming down, so I got two angles like that, and I want them to both be fairly parallel. I get it, Tony. I can't move it, but you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got that right. Because I can move it and then go adjust the camera, make sure it's good. I just want to take a look at your angle after you get it done here, that you were talking about right there.
Back here looks like it's coming around nicely. This is coming around good. I'm going to take just a hair more off yet. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it just like it is. This is it, folks. I'm going to cut this pattern right here, so I need to get this one out of my way. Stake it. So I need to go over to the water tank and wet these up. Slick them down good. Notice I'm turning around and kind of slicking in all directions, so it kind of spreads things out. if you all can see that or not. But I'm kind of pooched out here. Got a lot of this bead line showing and a lot of this, but none of this, so I'm going to straighten this off a little bit. Bit better, but I'm gonna do a little more yet. That'll work. So I'm going to use it, transfer the pattern for this one over to here. But I hope you all are understanding what I mean by ballpark patterns when I'm doing this, because everything, you can be close, but it's hard to be right on the money from one saddle to the next.
You know, I think it's that saying that they have, you know, just get it in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Just get it in the ballpark and then we can manage it from there.
Yeah, adjust it from there. I don't know if y'all shoot at all guns, but they have what they call a bore sighter for rifles and pistols, you know. But a bore sighter won't get you right on the money. It'll just get you, they call it on the paper, you know, and then you adjust your sights from there. And that's what these do. They just get you on the saddle itself. By golly, I think it'll work for both sides. But I am going to take just a little more off the heel of this up on top. I'll tell you why I did that. I'll show you if I can.
There we go.
Yeah, okay. You can see I'm further away here than I am here, because when I put those together, they'll be like this, but then when I draw it around up here, it'll actually kind of cup this back jockey down and make it cover over the bars of the saddle and rest against the skirt itself. It'll be a little more apparent when we actually do it. That's the reason I'm cutting away here and leaving it dead center up here. But anyway, now I'm going to get a French edger, and when we built the back rigging, I French edged right up against the cantle, and that's what I'm going to do on this here, because when I draw that around, I want it to be able to give a little bit. That way, if there's any imperfections in the back cantle itself, this will actually give and take that into consideration. Okay, now I'm also going to taper this off. Now, I'm not going to go to a feather, but I'm going to get rid of a lot of this extra meat here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, and this is what we've got. So, get their wing dividers and a hole punch. We're gonna lace this together just like we did the skirts, but this, I'm not gonna lace them right now, but I'm gonna get the holes punched because I'm getting ready to fit that frog for the back also. And I'm gonna lace these fairly far apart. About an inch apart is about what I've got. I'm not going to lace these together until after I get them tooled, but I've got to do this and fit that frog so I know where to tool to. Okay. Now I've got I've got three different frog patterns. They're all basically the same shape, just different sizes. So what I want the frog to do, can you see right here? Okay, this frog is going to come out exactly flush right here at these 2 points where the two back jockey parts meet together. That's going to cover that edge. I used to try and make them come all the way over the edge, but it's too hard to make them match nicely. But you can match that one spot pretty easily. Okay, now I've got 3 different sizes here, and I think the big one is probably the one I'm going to use. Although that looks pretty good. I think I'll use this one. So I'm going to put these away so I don't get them confused. Set these 2 pieces aside here. Get a piece of leather to cut this frog out of. That will make it right there, I guess. Get rid of that pencil mark. That's good, because I'm going to tool it and put my cartouche right there anyway. Right, this is just a piece of that leather that I cut off when I was cutting those back jockeys out. Some of this crap here. Looks pretty good. Right, that'll work. Now I'm going to thin some of this down here at the end. Alright. Center of this here. So I want this thing to center up right at that seam. And up at the top. Okay, now I'm going to make a light mark here so I know where that's going to end up. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to get out one of these fenders, just so I have a border line to go by, where I know how deep of a border I want. bead line here. Am I in the picture?
Seems that way.
You know what? On the wrong side.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of that with my tooling. Doesn't mean I meant to do it. This one more time. See how far apart I want these lines. This is just my border I'm laying out here. Leave that like it is. I'm going to draw my pattern off of this one. Okay, over to the table now. All right, folks, we've got the pattern for the back jockeys all cut out, and I've got the border laid out. So now I'm going to put the border, or the actual jockey on a piece of white paper and trace it off. And I'm going to attempt to draw a pattern for it, for the tooling. First thing I've got to do is this. That's about right there. He's got a regular pencil compass here. You can use the one your kids have in kindergarten or whatever age they let them handle sharp pointed stuff with. I'm not going to even draw the border on this paper. I'm just going to draw the inside line of the border. pencil. Alright, so that's what I've got to work with. Which isn't a real big space, but it's alright. And I think I've got 5 different flowers on the fender. And those are that's all the flowers I'm going to be using. And I've already used this one. And this one. I used this one and this one on the skirts. So I think I'm going to use these 2 dogwood flowers on the back jockeys. So let's just go right about like this. Seems like a good place to start for me. I'm just using a tap-off pattern and drawing around it. I use a tap-off at times to actually tap the pattern off, but I'm drawing this on paper because I'm not very good at drawing big patterns on the leather. Okay, and let's go like this and make another one. Something like this. I don't know what my actual plan of attack is when I draw a pattern. I just start with the flowers and try to make stuff blend in. Fold over here too. All right, got my flowers on there. Now I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to start right about in the middle of these flowers. And this is the flow of my pattern, is this circle. Alright. So let's flow this way. So we'll have make a stem coming off of here. Stem coming off of here. around this circle, filling in some space. Drew this border, but part of my pattern is going to go out over that border, so I'll erase it as I go. take the back of this.
Is that something that you want me to flip on the printer?
Well, I'm going to tap it off on the other one. This one I'm going to tap off on the other side.
Tap it off then.
I'll tap it off, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry for suggesting it.
No, I appreciate your suggestion.
Where's the tape at?
Right behind me. Tape more than I have to. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. It's a small contribution that I can make.
It's a large contribution. I didn't have to turn around.
That's what you need all the time.
Yeah.
You may block that fan from blowing that tape everywhere till you get it taped down?
Yeah.
Let me just put my body right here.
That sounds good. I was hot when I first started this.
I'm like a dead weight for wind.
Wind weight.
A wind block. I'll find my use in life one day.
Okay, now let me go over the table. I'll just trim this off right quick.
So drawing out a pattern like this to get the skill set to trust what you're doing with your hand, just experience.
Just, yeah, experience and just drawing stuff. You know, what I do is basically Sheridan style carving. I don't know if everybody would call it that. I don't know what else to call it. But it's just a series of circles. And this one I only have, this is 2 flowers, but it's basically just one set of flowers and a circle around it. So basically you fill in around the outside of the flower, and then I just expand out and fill in
Yeah, and
the rest of it.
if I was even looking at it, I would say you have 2 circles in there. One just not being shown, your circle here, and then the circle back on this one that happens over here.
Well, yeah, this is a serpentine that would start another
Yeah.
circle. Yes, that's exactly right.
I can't be taught.
But in reality, it's all just filling in space. You know, that's what you're trying to do, but you want to do it where it looks good.
When you first started doing it, were you looking at books whenever you were drawing your stuff and copying?
When I first started, like if I was doing this, I would take a wallet pattern and set it on here and just draw what I could inside these lines, you know. But that's not really how you draw a pattern, because you want the pattern to actually fit the space that you're tooling, you know.
But you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere, yeah, and that's where I started, and I started to realize that that's not working out. So then I started reading books. I read a book by, I forget the guy, Bob Likewise, I think, is the one that actually wrote the book, but Bill Gardner showed in full from start to finish how he laid a pattern out. And that's where I really learned how to draw a pattern.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, it's a series of circles, and you fill in all the space around it. So now, I'm going to take an ink pen and duplicate this pattern that I just drew.
Somebody mentioned a tattoo. Remember when we had that guy's leg drawing that he did? And you drew him up a tattoo for it?
I don't know if you used that.
I think that he did. I don't know that we ever saw the result of the tattoo, and maybe he hasn't got it done yet and he's just holding it back. So now we just got a ballpoint pen tracing back over onto the wet leather.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You find that ballpoint pen is the smoothest way to transfer?
Yes, especially on paper, because a stylus wants to bunch the paper up under it, and the ball actually rolls.
Plus, if you were doing it with just a stylus, a ball stylus, you wouldn't have known where you went.
Well, yeah. It helps in that respect for sure. So now I'll cut it with a swivel knife.
Only about halfway through, though, if you don't mind.
I doubt that I'll even be cutting halfway through on this.
I was just suggesting not to cut all the way through it.
Good idea.
Let me tip this camera just a little.
Skirting leather, you got to be a mean son of a gun to cut all the way through it with a swivel knife. Of course, I guess they're out there.
Is that where you're cutting at? About the majority?
Well, yeah, I'll be turning it this way and that way. First thing I'm going to do is tap myself a little circle here for these flower centers. And that's just temporary because that's not the actual flower center. That's just the center of the flower. I'm not going to use this knife. I always start with my main features first. When I draw it, when I cut it, and when I bevel it, every other tool that I use, I'll always start with the main features and work my way out from there. I say always. Always is a pretty staunch term, but for the most part, that's what I do. y'all notice I'm not following my pattern exactly. I'm doing it the way when you draw, you're just taking it off the top of your head, but after you've drawn it and then you put it on the piece of leather, you can kind of see where you might ought to do things a little different. So I do. All right. Now, I'm going to cut my border. There's a soft spot in the leather there. Okay. Let me get that other piece and see if I can make it.
Let me get it for you. I kind of got you trapped in there, don't I?
All right, yeah. I kind of drew the border on this one different than the other one.
Two piece.
So I'm going to have to alter things a little bit. I'm going to dry this a little because I don't want it too wet when I tap it. Would you hand me my hammer over there, Tony?
Oh, you want this hammer?
Yes, please.
All right.
Thank you.
A beating tool.
transferred pretty well. I think I'm just going to start beveling this one. I'll cut that one later. Couple of undershots here. Beveling with my flowers, just like I cut it and just like I drew it.
Is that how that goes?
What are you doing, Liz?
Just saying, hey.
Hey.
This morning I was like, is Tony gonna be here today? And Justin was like, he's here. He's doing the video. And I was like, oh my God, it's Wednesday.
It is. That's what I think when I wake up a lot of times. Oh my God.
It's Wednesday.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Is the catalog coming along?
She's coming along, slowly but surely.
Flowers done, beveled anyway. get this border done, it's time to call it for the day.
How come?
Because I'm tired.
Oh, okay. You want me to tour for a while?
Yeah. Would you get this done for me?
All the border or just this?
The whole border.
Okay. Is that your soft spot there?
Yeah. But that's all right.
It's gonna be tucked up underneath.
Yeah, it's under the seat jockey. Okay. Let's call it a day.
We'll show those two pieces right there.
Huh?
Put your two pieces right there.
Put them to.
Yeah, right there on your granite. You see where you're at? So we got one beveled up. Got one tapped out. All right, what's the plan for Friday then?
If I get these finished tooled, I'll fit them on the saddle themselves. I'll form them to the saddle. And then I think we're ready to start the seat.
The finished seat, we're doing an inlay on that?
We're going to do an inlaid seat, but we got some work to do before that.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Say bye, Denny.
See you guys. See you Friday.